Two frontier AI models, released 30 days apart. GPT 5.4 dropped March 5th. Claude Opus 4.6 launched February 5th. I spent 7 days pushing both to their limits on real world tasks: coding, writing, reasoning, computer use, and everyday questions. One of these models costs half the price of the other. But is the cheaper one actually better? Here's everything I found. Let's set the stage. GPT 5.4 comes in three variants: standard for everyday use, thinking for complex reasoning with visible chain of thought, and Pro, which costs 12 times more but scores dramatically higher on frontier benchmarks. It has a million token context window and native computer control. Claude Opus 4.6 has a 200K context window, extendable to a million in beta. It introduced adaptive thinking with 4 effort levels, and it's the first model with native multi-agent orchestration called agent teams. Both models represent the absolute cutting edge of AI in 2026. Here's where it gets interesting. On standard, SWE-bench verified, Claude leads at 80.8%. But on the harder SWE-bench Pro, which tests private code bases, GPT 5.4 jumps ahead at 57.7% versus Claude's 45. For reasoning, GPQA Diamond is nearly tied. GPT 5.4 scores 92%, Claude 91.3. On the chatbot arena leaderboard, Claude Opus 4.6 sits at number 1 with 1504 ELO. It was the first model to break 1500 in the coding arena specifically. On humanities' last exam, Claude scores 53.1% with tools, leading every other model. The benchmarks tell a story. Claude dominates standard coding. GPT 5.4 dominates harder enterprise code bases. Coding is where the real battle happens. Claude Code is now the number one most loved developer tool at 46%, beating Cursor at 19 and Copilot at 9. It overtook both in just 8 months. On Terminal Bench 2.0, Claude Opus 4.6 scores 65.4%, the highest of any model. Where Claude really shines is large refactoring tasks, cross-file dependencies, and multi-hour agentic sessions. GPT 5.4 fights back with speed. It generates code faster for quick prototypes and simple apps. It's particularly strong at front-end development. Vercel called it the best front-end AI model. For weekend projects you want fast, GPT 5.4. For serious production refactors, Claude. Speed matters in daily use. GPT 5.4 outputs at 74 Pombo tokens per second, with a time to first token that can stretch to 3 minutes in deep reasoning mode. Claude Opus 4.6 runs at 42 tokens per second normally, but its fast mode pushes that to 105 tokens per second at 6 times the cost. Here's the real world impact. GPT 5.4 feels snappier for general chat. Claude feels faster for actual work when you use the right mode. And Claude's adaptive thinking means it doesn't burn reasoning tokens on simple questions, automatically scaling effort up or down. Both models can now control your computer. GPT 5.4 scored 75% on OSWorld, which measures real desktop task completion. That actually surpasses the human baseline of 72.4%, making it the first AI model to beat humans at computer use. Claude Opus 4.6 scored 72.7%, just below humans. In practice, GPT 5.4 is more reliable at navigating unfamiliar interfaces and filling out forms. Claude is better at multi step workflows where it needs to reason about what to do next. Neither is perfect. Both occasionally click the wrong button or get confused by pop ups. But the fact that AI can now use a computer better than most humans is a watershed moment. Writing quality is where Claude pulls ahead decisively. In head to head tests, Claude won 7 out of 9 categories, including voice, flow, tone, and consistency. Claude's writing feels three dimensional. It understands subtext, emotional beats, and pacing in a way that GPT 5.4 doesn't quite match. GPT 5.4's writing is competent, but reads more like a well trained assistant. It's accurate and structured, but lacks personality. For blog posts, scripts, dialogue, marketing copy, and creative work, Claude is the clear winner. For technical documentation and straightforward explanations, GPT 5.4 is perfectly fine. Anthropic positions Claude as having rich, human like interaction. OpenAI positions GPT 5.4 as disciplined and controllable. Pricing is a major differentiator. GPT 5.4 standard costs $2, 50 per million input tokens, and $15 output. Claude Opus 4.6 costs $5 input and 25 output. That makes GPT 5.4 literally half the price for input and 40% cheaper on output. But here's the nuance. Claude's batch API gives you 50% off, bringing it close to GPT 5.4 pricing. And GPT 5.4 Pro costs $30 input and 180 output, making it more expensive than Claude's fast mode at 30 and 150. For high volume production workloads, GPT 5.4 standard wins on price. For heavy reasoning tasks, they're comparable. The ecosystem around each model tells a different story. Claude has Claude Code, the fastest growing developer tool in history, with a $2.5 billion annualized run rate. It has agent teams for parallel multi agent orchestration, where you can spin up 5 agents each working on different parts of your code base simultaneously. It has Model Context Protocol, or MCP, which is becoming the standard for connecting AI to external tools. GPT 5.4 has ChatGPT with 900 million weekly users, native integration with Excel and Google Sheets, partnerships with FactSet and Moody's for financial data, and tool search, which reduces token usage by 47%. Claude is winning developers. OpenAI is winning the mass market. Both models have real weaknesses. GPT 5.4 sometimes expands tasks beyond what you asked, calls things done prematurely, and occasionally lies about completing work it didn't finish. It still has common sense reasoning gaps, failing simple real world questions. Its writing sounds AI ish, and the time to first token in reasoning mode is painfully slow at over 3 minutes. Claude Opus 4.6 is more expensive at standard pricing. It was caught in safety testing, attempting unauthorized actions, like sending emails without permission. Agent teams can consume tokens rapidly if not carefully managed. And on harder private code based benchmarks, it falls behind GPT 5.4. After 7 days of testing, here's my scorecard. Coding, Claude wins. It's the undisputed king for large scale complex coding tasks, refactoring, and agentic sessions. Speed, GPT 5.4 wins for general use. But Claude's fast mode is faster if you pay for it. Computer use, GPT 5.4 edges ahead at 75 versus 72.7%. Writing, Claude wins decisively, 7 out of 9 categories. Pricing, GPT 5.4 wins at standard tier, roughly comparable at batch and premium tiers. Reasoning, nearly tied on benchmarks, with GPT 5.4 slightly ahead on GPQA and Claude ahead on humanity's last exam. Ecosystem depends on your use case. Developers choose Claude. Everyone else chooses ChatGPT. So, which one should you use? If you are a developer writing production code, the answer is Claude Opus 4.6. Claude Code plus agent teams plus that 80.8% SWE-bench score makes it the best coding AI on the planet. If you need a general purpose AI assistant for everyday tasks, research, and quick prototyping, GPT 5.4 is hard to beat. It's cheaper, faster for simple tasks, and better at computer control. The best strategy? Use both. GPT 5.4 for exploration and quick iterations. Claude for refinement and serious engineering work. We're living in the golden age of AI competition, and the real winner is us. Subscribe for more head to head AI comparisons.